They sought equality and found it. Blow by blow, round by round. No allowances and no exceptions. Because it turns out that equality inside a ring is the most literal thing in the world. And today we have more proof that combat sports are the most honest place on the planet. Welcome to the part where reality speaks louder than any argument. Sasha entered the ring with fire and fury, shouting confidence, flexing for the cameras, and promising to dominate her male opponent, Nikita Litvinkov. From the first blow, Sasha realized her mistake and tried to run away, but it was already too late. Without any shame, Nikita decided not to waste the opportunity and used her as a practice dummy. In the end, Nikita emerged victorious, and the moment went viral as the perfect example of how overconfidence clashes with cold reality. Sasha built up a show she couldn't back up, and in combat sports, the ring reveals the truth faster than any other arena. This professional fighter couldn't find a legitimate opponent for an exhibition match. So she accepted the challenge from a drunk man pulled off the street. And surprisingly, the drunk guy managed to land a few clean shots before going down. Still, for being a man pulled out of a bar, he earned more respect than half of the internet commentators. June 2022, Tampa, Florida. The world-class Fight League 32 event organized a fight that many believe should never have been approved. Gita, a woman with minimal mixed martial arts training, challenged Shane Mistretta, a male fighter with professional experience. From the opening bell, Shane turned her lesson in female empowerment into a festival of humility. She was literally getting beaten up, and by the last minute, equality had already clocked out. She was put in her place. Tampa witnessed a silent truth. Hard work beats hashtags, and gender doesn't stop the punches. This boxer really thought she could intimidate her opponent. Momo Kosen from Japan faced Yoon Jung-hoo from South Korea. 2 fighters, 1 ring, and a lot of misplaced confidence. But what happened when the first punch landed? Everything changed quickly. She was taking an absolute beating, combination after combination. Each exchange was worse than the last. but you have to give him credit for not giving up. Even when the punishment intensified, even when the scorecards became ridiculously lopsided, she kept moving forward, but in the end, it was enough. And to prevent further harm to the poor girl, the referee stepped in to save her. A reminder that bullying only works until it doesn't. And once the gloves start flying, the only thing that matters is who really knows how to fight. The South Korean show, Fearless Guys, decided to answer one of the most viral questions on the internet. Could a woman beat a man in mixed martial arts? And the fighter Ramona stepped into the octagon to face the wrestler Un Tai-wung, convinced that she could silence the skeptics. What followed was a short, brutal, and painfully clear encounter. In less than 3 minutes, the difference became evident, as she could barely defend herself from her opponent's relentless punishment. The referee, seeing the danger, had no choice but to stop the fight before something worse happened. Another viral moment in Moscow showed a huge woman nicknamed Mamaja, known for intimidating smaller men in front of the cameras. Everyone wanted to see her get what she deserved, and in an organized revenge fight, the promoters put her in a mixed martial arts cage against a 50-year-old man. He looked fragile, half her size, and not even athletic. When the fight started, the brute from Moscow looked confident, showing off her skills and dominating the man who at first glance seemed to represent the weaker sex. But by the third round, fatigue did its job. The man's experience and patience paid off. He started landing clean punches as the woman's stamina collapsed. In the end, the old man delivered the karma she deserved, and he achieved a resounding victory over the arrogant woman. Before the Ultimate Fighting Championship, before viral street fights, before it was legal to broadcast any of this, there were Beth Busy and Joe Hess. It was the year 1974. The women's liberation movement was in full swing, and the organizers of the Oriental World of Self-Defense decided to answer the ultimate question. Could a woman defeat a man in full contact martial arts? Beth Busy, weighing 57 kilograms, stepped into the ring against Joe Hess, a martial arts champion weighing 122 kilograms and standing 1.88 meters tall. And what was supposed to be a friendly exchange of combat techniques quickly turned into something completely different. She came out on the attack, using everything she had against her opponent, who was much bigger than she was. And for a moment, the audience thought they might be witnessing a historic moment. But gender doesn't care about moves. It doesn't read manifest. And when Joe Hess responded to the attack, Beth Busy flew out of the ring with a devastating karate kick. Joe Hess did exactly what the fight demanded, and 50 years later, we're still having the same debate. Nong Rose, a transgender Muay Thai fighter from Thailand, built her reputation by competing against and defeating men in professional Muay Thai fights. Her technique and precision earned her genuine respect within the Thai fighting community. But when Rose faced Andrew Capurro, a much stronger and more experienced striker, who clearly didn't believe in equality inside the ring, the result was very different. At first, it seemed competitive. Rose was moving well, showing technique and good timing. But it wasn't long before Capurro's raw power and precision shattered his composure. Each exchange became more one-sided, as the man dismantled her with crushing blows that sent her to the canvas several times. In the second round, Rose was brutally laid out on a bed of roses, right where she belonged, ending any illusion of equality in that ring. The referee stopped the fight before the final bell rang, giving Capurro a decisive victory, and making it clear that mercy was not part of the game plan. Lucia Riker was considered the most dangerous woman in the history of combat sports, whose punch was stronger than that of many men, undefeated in boxing and kickboxing. A true pioneer who earned the nickname Lady Tyson thanks to her absolute dominance. But Riker took her legend too far. She wanted to prove something bigger. She wanted to fight against a man. And in an intergender match, she faced Somchai Jaidi, a fighter with more than 30 professional fights. During the first round, Riker stood her ground, using her elite technique and footwork. But halfway through the second round, the physical reality became undeniable. Jaidi landed a clean right hand that knocked Riker down instantly. It wasn't a lack of technique, nor of heart. It was biology facing reality in the most direct way possible. In an unusual mixed martial arts fight, 2 against 1, two Romanian influencers, Roxana Tutu and Betty Shaw, thought that challenging a single man would be a great idea. Let's see how their smart decision turned out. From the very first seconds, Perverso used his size and strength to put the women exactly where they belonged. Despite being outnumbered, he controlled the pace and position throughout the entire fight. Although the two women tried to coordinate their attacks, they simply couldn't overcome the physical difference between the two genders. A single man won a 2-on-1 mixed martial arts fight. In the end, Perverso celebrated while both influencers gasped for air, not understanding what had just happened. In front of her fellow soldiers, a self-proclaimed strong woman decided to challenge a male fighter to prove that women were just as powerful. And a single jab was enough to send her confidence crashing to the floor. In seconds, the man's technical superiority and control dominated the fight, leaving her with no response. What started as a demonstration of courage ended up being a painful lesson in reality. The fight started evenly, with both trying to prove their point. Goal. The audience watched in disbelief as his confidence crumbled with every blow, until one last clean hit sent her to the ground, ending the fight instantly and leaving her humiliated in front of everyone present. It was an uncomfortable lesson given in front of many. If there's a name that divided the world of mixed martial arts more than any other, it's Fallon Fox, a biological man who transitioned to a woman and began competing in women's mixed martial arts to prove a point. What surprised fans was not just her arrival, but the absolute dominance that followed. With physical attributes impossible for her opponents to match, Fox swept through the women's division, one final after another. Many accused her of simply wanting to hit women under cover of legality. The controversy reached its peak in 2014 when Fox stepped into the cage with Tanika Brents. The fight lasted only 39 seconds. Fox delivered devastating knee strikes that left Brents with a concussion and a fractured skull. A chilling reminder of the physical gap that no regulation can erase. This muscle powerhouse is Gabi Garcia, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu force, standing at 1.88 meters and weighing over 100 kilograms, a multiple-time world champion. She challenged one of the best male submission specialists, Craig Jones, believing she could defeat any man who stood in her way. Before the match, the alpha female dominated Jones in an arm wrestling contest and mocked him in front of the cameras, convincing the audience that she could really win. But when the fight started, Jones put her in her place immediately, making her submit faster than she could flex her biceps. The crowd went wild, and the lesson was clear. Even the strongest woman on the planet can't beat nature, nor escape Craig Jones's rear naked choke. Whether you're a man or a woman, when you're in the army, you constantly have to fight against others to keep your agility. This poor soldier was put up against a man, but she didn't know when to back down. What was unusual was her confidence, and for about 5 seconds, maybe she believed it. Then reality set in, and it ended very badly for her. She broke her hand, but at least she was an adult who chose this. This woman, full of confidence, believed she could get in the ring and dominate a man. Her name is Joanne Laurer, better known to wrestling fans as China. She decided to swap the spectacle of the ring for real boxing and challenged Joey Buttafuoco, thinking he was just another out-of-shape guy who spent his days watching TV and drinking beer. She thought it would be an easy show of strength.
I pray to God that Joey Buttafuoco has his mouth guard today.
Big mistake. And what followed was far from that. From the opening bell, Joey came out throwing punches. Not like a clumsy reality show opponent, but like someone who had been waiting for that moment to teach the empowered queen a lesson. He was saved by the bell, dazed, looking for answers in her corner. After a brief word from her team, she returned to the ring, but any plan she had vanished as soon as Joey started throwing punches again. By the third round, a clean punch from this desperate house husband awakened the beast in his rival, and the self-proclaimed queen of the ring ended up begging for mercy.